Awesome sauce.
So we're live already. Hold on.
Five, four, three, two, one, zero.
Welcome to another edition of Web Boxing Podcast 101 on our 49th episode. That's right, 49 episodes of this local, first time ever for the region of El Paso, Las Cruces, and Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, for our podcast to be streaming and for fun. And you know what? Just because we like to talk about our local fighters, man. That's fucking awesome. It's our 49th episode, and
Can I just say that I would have loved to be the 50th?
Well, I mean, we're speaking about the 50th. There, my friends, you heard is El Paso's pro boxer Issac Luna will be our guest on the show today.
How's it going, everybody?
Welcome, Issac.
Thank you for welcoming me. I'm glad to be here.
And we are starting our video now. You can watch this podcast on the Boxing Reporter, our online publication, and on YouTube. So you just heard there, Issac will be our 49th guest of the show. And folks, like always, you can join us in YouTube or the Boxing Reporter. And tonight's show is being sponsored by the Detail Garage of El Paso. Go visit the clean guys, the chemical guys, at 2260 North Zaragoza. And the number to the cleaning guys is 915-234-2234. And I'm going to tell you, when you walk into the Detail Garage store, you will not only be greeted by a friendly staff and also enthusiastic, but you're also going to be greeted by a vast selection of detailing and car care products for all your needs, ranging from accessories, brushes, tools, equipment, products to keep your car looking at its best. And that is store of the Detail Garage in El Paso, 2260 North Zaragoza. They're presenting this podcast. And for all you listeners out there, they're offering 15% of any purchase in the store. 15%, and the code to get your discount, just tell them you heard it on the podcast to all my listeners, is Webboxing 101. So just go to the store, get your stuff, what you need for your car, go to the counter and say, hey, look, we have the code here, Webboxing 101, and they're going to hook you up with the discount. That's the product offering for tonight's podcast, being sponsored by Detail Garage of El Paso, Texas. The good guys over there at the Detail Garage, 915-234-2235. So they're sponsoring our show today. So shout out to those guys out there. It's a fucking awesome store. Well, like always, folks, I'm your host, Trevino, here from the Warriors Edge Boxing Gym in El Paso, Texas. And like always, my play-by-play guy, my second guy, my right-hand guy is from the pride of the South Side, right? The Bowie High, 7-time El Paso Golden Glove champ, former professional heavyweight fighter that fought the likes of Vitaly Klitschko, Hasim Rockman, and El Paso Boxing Hall of Famer Herman Delgado, also known as the Hitman. Welcome again, Herman. Glad to have you back on this 49th episode.
My little girl would be laughing. You call me the Hitman.
Yeah, well, Tiger called you the Hitman.
Yeah, he does. He's a good guy.
He's a good guy, right? So, Herman, 49th episode. What do you think?
That's good, man. That's 49-0.
I mean,
49-0. I like it.
I mean, you know what, man? I mean, it's the first of its kind, right, Issac?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. You guys.
Oh no, Mayweather went up to 50. Never mind.
He went to 50.
Right. Issac, welcome to the gym, man.
Thanks, man. I've been here before, and it's always been. You guys always welcome me with open arms, and I really appreciate that. I like being here.
Good, man. And I know you mentioned you wish you were the 50th episode, huh?
Yeah, I wish I would have been, but I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, well, speaking of the 50th episode, next week's episode is all about ring announcing.
Oh, really?
So we'll have 3 ring announcers, Christian Smith, and Aldo Montes will be on the former Mr. Arriaga. Also from Hobbs will be here.
Arriaga,
will be here. The golden voice of Hobbs, right?
He's announced a couple of my fights. He's been announced a couple of my fights. He's a good guy. I like him.
Yeah, good. He'll be here next week talking all about ring announcing. So that should be a pretty interesting show to be the 15th episode, because that's how I started boxing. I was a ring announcer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, I signed a contract with Showtime Boxing to do 3 fights, and I really didn't like to be up there. So I
really?
didn't do it no more.
You didn't like it?
No, I did a couple of fights in Spanish. I did ESPN Deportes, a David Rodriguez fight, Hector Camacho Jr. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see these guys that have the passion for it. I really don't have the passion for it. So I decided
They never
not to
caught
do it.
fire with you?
Nah, not even. So let's see what's making the headlines, folks. And Isaac, chime in if you like. Tyson Jones Jr. Exhibition will be scored.
Hey, my trainer says that Tyson's gonna knock out Jones.
Tyson's gonna knock out
That's what
Jones.
he says, and the man's right. Whenever he's always right. Whenever whenever Ruiz was gonna fight Joshua, I told him, I was like, "There's no way Ruiz is gonna win."
So do you think who's this guy?
Cesar Carvajal is my trainer.
So do you think that maybe Cesar is all into the hype that we saw Mike Tyson on social media taking those mitts at this age?
You know what he says, and you know what? So like me, I grew up in the era of Mayweather, so I'm a huge Mayweather fan. We do the shoulder roll sometimes, not 100%, but my trainer, he grew up in the Roy Jones era when Roy Jones was pound for pound. So he's a huge Roy Jones fan. I think probably more than Tyson. Tyson fell off later at the end, but and Jones did too after he went up to heavyweight and then dropped all that weight again, right? Yeah. But he just says that Jones can't take a punch anymore, and Tyson hits. Tyson hits.
Well, I mean, at last week's podcast, Herman, I kind of mocked the event, and I'm still gonna mock.
I think it's a joke. I wouldn't put any money into that.
He said, "I'm still gonna mock it."
Yeah, it's a circus. We did that because they were not going to score the fight. Now they're going to score it. The exhibition will be scored now, officially set for November 28th, because they're postponing it. And now there's more drama into the mix because Jones doesn't want to fight now, or he's saying, "Hey, what's going on? The change of date, etc., right?" Yeah. It will be sanctioned, and even the promoter was not a known promoter. Mm-hmm. Triller is not a known boxing, so maybe the broadcast is not. Well, it gets better, Isaac. The circus gets better. Buy your tickets, buy your peanuts, ladies and gentlemen. It's the ring time, Ringley Brothers and Circus. Well, it gets better. The undercard will feature Badu Jack. Remember Badu Jack?
Yeah,
got that bad which is okay. But there will also be the YouTube personality bullshit. Man. It's going to be Jake Paul against pro-debuting former NBA player Nate Robinson. You got to be fucking kidding me.
Against
Jake Paul, yeah. So, and then guess who's going to MC it? Mario Lopez. It just gets better and better, man. Yeah,
him and De La Hoya had like an exhibition match at one time too.
I'm sorry, man. It's just...
Maybe Mario Lopez will be fighting De La Hoya in stockings.
They had
in stockings, man.
I'm sorry. I mean, that's and then you know what? It's live on pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. I mean, I said on the last podcast that they should have put this fight on the undercard of let's say Spence Garcia.
Can I give my take on it?
On what?
On that whole Jones and Tyson thing.
Yeah, we're talking about it, of course.
So now my take, and I've been real busy, getting this new gym that we got going set. So I haven't been, doing much, watching anything. On the social media presence that I've been has been promoting, but I did see Tyson talking about, like how you bring up, it should be on the undercard of Spence or something like that. And Tyson said himself, he's like, look, this promotion that we're starting is not for guys 52, 54 to go and get their, heads knocked in by a 20-year-old, a 24-year-old that's in his prime. He's like, we're going to have legends fighting legends. He's like, even basketball, they're going to have Allen Iverson, playing against somebody that was around in his time. It's not going to be, and like Oscar De La Hoya too, I mean, I'm a huge De La Hoya fan. I actually grew up on, Trinidad fights, the De La Hoya fights. So I'm a huge De La Hoya fan, and I'm all for him coming back, and I'm happy that they're doing it in that fashion, right? Well, like if Herman was to come back, I wouldn't want him to fight a 25-year-old,
That's total bullshit. I mean, I come in here and work out, and I'm just thinking like these guys. these guys aren't going to take a backseat to anybody. It's just their egos are too big.
So do you think maybe it's to save boxing?
It's not to save boxing, it's to save their bank account.
Yeah.
That's basically what it comes down to.
I mean, I called it a circus. Am I going to be watching?
It is a
Probably.
circus. Mamadas on pay-per-view, that's what it should be called.
Hey, folks, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We got pro fighter Isaac Luna
Happy to be here. What?
today with us. And this podcast being brought to you by Detail Garage of El Paso. We'd like to say hello to Aldo Montes. Aldo, hello. Pascual Esparza is watching. Aldo Montes wants his. Okay, here we go. You gotta raise your volume, so you gotta.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, get him closer to you.
Can you hear there? Oh, that's too much.
Yeah, right there, perfect.
Right there,
and we'd like to
perfect.
say hello to Vago.
Vago.
Victor Apodaca is watching.
Victor.
He's
How old is Victor
Hey,
Apodaca?
can we say all that? 1, 2, 3, Vagos, right? 1, 2, 3,
Vagos. How old is Victor Apodaca?
I don't know how old is he. Is he 45? 30?
No, he's in his-
I wasn't sure if
25.
he's my age because I
Victor's
fought a
in
couple
his
victors in the
60s.
amateurs. Say what's up, baby.
And another note, guys, Benavides dominates Angulo, right? Remains unbeaten. The undefeated former WBC super middleweight world champion, also known as the Bandera Roja, who lost his title on the scale, which was, again, we talked about on the last podcast, that he lost the title on the scale undisciplined, and I don't think he won he didn't impress me, you know what I mean? He said he was a solid 8. I call him a solid 5 probably.
Angulo?
Benavides said he was disappointed in Bears not making the 168-pound. Remember, Benavides was also in the running to face maybe Canelo Alvarez, but all this fight was benefiting Golden Boy Promotions, and it did benefit because it shook up things in the Canelo world that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to clear some stuff with you guys, so bear with me. It cleared up a lot. It kind of fucked up a lot of stuff with Canelo, because as of this week, this is what we heard, that the WBC, right, has announced that Canelo Alvarez will face Avnin Yildirim, right, and you see on the screen right there, for the vacant WBC Super Middleweight Championship. The Board of Governors has voted 36-1 to order Alvarez, the multi-division world champion who holds the franchise belt, to fight against mandatory contender Yildirim. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. Is coming off a controversial technical split against 18 months ago. He hasn't fought in 18 months, folks, and he fought Anthony Durrell. This leaves, and this fucks everything up, guys. This messes everything up, because Benavides not making the scale is a collateral damage to, like, Caleb Smith. That's the guy that I want to see Canelo fight. That leaves the WBA, because he is the WBA super middleweight titleist, who was hoping to fight for the vacant belt without the immediate shot for time being. The title was left vacant again because Ade Benavides failed to make weight. When they fail to make weight, what do you think of that, Isaac? When a fighter fails to make weight?
You know what? At that level, because of course, and if you're not fighting for a title, what people don't understand, if you're there, they're like, how long is your fight? People ask me sometimes, I'm like, I'm fighting a 6-rounder. I'm not going for a world title. So once you're fighting for a world title, the stakes are just so high, man. You cannot be, messing up weight like that. There's millions of dollars going into shows like that. You show up 2-3 pounds over.
Why do fighters miss weight?
No excuse.
No excuse.
No excuse. Period.
People are just walking around, 12, 15 pounds over their weight. Don't manage it right the first, a month into a big fight like that, you got to be close to your weight already. You already got to be dieting to the point,
and you missed it.
You can't be losing water weight. It has to be dieting. Your stomach small, and then they missed it.
And he didn't look that. If you see him on the picture here, he didn't look that all good. He looked pretty fat. I mean, for him to be wanting to fight Canelo Alvarez to the likes of superstars like Canelo Alvarez, he didn't look that good. So here we go, the collateral damage. It messed up Caleb Smith. I love Caleb Smith for Canelo Alvarez, which is not going to fucking happen.
I'm not 100. Can you have a picture of him? I'm not 100%.
Smith, no, but we'll look him up right now. Caleb Smith, he fought his brother already, Canelo, but he's
that's what I remember.
That's his brother. But Caleb Smith is the big 168. He has the belts.
Is Canelo gonna fight at 168?
Well, we don't know yet. Maybe we don't know yet. But let me tell you where DAZN falls into all this. DAZN's decision makers weren't interested in paying even a discounted rights fee to stream Canelo and Durrell fight. They have no intention of footing the bill for Alvarez to fight someone Durrell defeated. So DAZN won't even approve this fight. So there's already controversy with Alvarez and DAZN.
There's no market for it.
Because,
there's no market for it.
But DAZN needs money. Right now they're in trouble. And I like DAZN because they're saying, no, you're not going to fight this guy under our television. Fuck
like,
no.
we're not going to have you up here with chumps.
Yeah, DAZN, with which Alvarez and Golden Boy have exclusive deal, is open to Alvarez fighting sometime in October or November if they can come to an agreement on a suitable opponent and license fee. Hey, Alvarez would be heavily favored to defeat Yildirim, of course. Well, whose third-round knockout to defeat Chris Eubank Jr. in October 2017 is among the reasons DAZN is not interested in paying Alvarez to fight this guy.
Can I say one thing about Canelo? I'm a huge Canelo fan. He's the man right now. You know, he's got great head movement. He's a beast. I'm a huge fan of him. But I did hear an interview where they asked him about, you know, rematching Mayweather. And he was like, and this was when Mayweather was going to fight McGregor. And he was like, you know what? I feel like he's making a joke of boxing with all these fights that don't matter. And then they were like, well, what do you think about rematching? He said, well, I would like the rematch. I think we have unsettled business. Like, what? That's a fight that doesn't matter, bro. Like him at his top, like dominated, beat him, you know, did his thing. And you know, him talking about fights that don't matter. That's all he's doing. You know, that's all he's doing. He ducked Triple G for a while, and by the time Triple G, I think now he knocks out Triple G, but Canelo's just he's looking for the easiest fights to get the biggest payday.
Well, of course. I mean, and DAZN most recently offered Canelo next approximately half of the $40 million package Alvarez has been paid for each of his two bouts. That's a lot of money. The victories over Daniel Jacobs, Sergey Kovalev, that DAZN finance as part of the 11-fight deal they have. Okay. Again. An unfazed Alvarez, again, he doesn't give a shit, right? Still expects to be paid the full amounts per fight. Stipulated in his contract, DAZN executives, John Skipper and Joe Markowski, have stressed, however, that the need for Golden Boy and Alvarez to deliver what DAZN considered premium events. I get it. If DAZN is to pay the $40 million per fight, expect for the agreement, they don't consider Durrell, Yildirim, or some other boxers Golden Boy has proposed to be premium opponents because we know they're not premium opponents. Gennady Golovkin is the premium opponent that DAZN must wants to watch against Alvarez. And we all want to see that because that will bring the money in. Triple G, guys, is a premium opponent. He is a premium opponent.
Of course, I do.
He is a premium opponent,
There's
right?
factors.
The other one, he's getting older.
He's very old now.
But I still think that he'll bring it to Alvarez, right? Caleb Smith is a possible opponent DAZN has approved for Alvarez's next bout, but not for the $40 million package Alvarez expects. He's from England. He's 27-0, and he owns the WBC super middleweight title. Mm-hmm. So what a mess in all this, man. You know, it's a mess, man. But hey, man, my applause and kudos for DAZN. They're not going to put up with this shit.
Exactly.
You know, hey, we want a premium. This is DAZN came in at the right time, folks.
They said you're not going to make a joke out of the sport.
Well, I mean, they came in at the right time. Because just imagine if DAZN would have came in at this year with the pandemic, they would have lost all the money. But DAZN came in at the right time, live streaming fights, and I think Canelo should live up to his name and give us the goddamn fight he wants to see. Let me tell you.
But you know what it all boils down to? De La Hoya.
Well,
That's who's responsible.
I believe whenever Triple G was in his prime, Canelo, he came out and he said, you know, after he knocked out Amir Khan, he said, hey, nosotros no somos con esos mamadas, ¿verdad? And I think he believed that, and that's how he felt. But his promoters were like, no, we can't have you do this because you will get knocked, you know. So he has the guts to do it, but.
Well, for me, if you ask me, this is the guy that Canelo should fight, Bivol. Bivol is a strong, exciting fighter that Canelo should face. and he's not going to face. Folks, I'm sorry, man. We're not going to see Canelo in September fight this guy. We might see him face this guy that they've been friends and they sparred, and it's all lovey-dovey affair. So who knows, man? I mean, I just want Canelo. Canelo should step up, man. Let's just make it a big fight.
I was talking to Sergio yesterday,
And he knows he's the head of the he's the big draw right now. What are you doing? Come on.
And I was on the same page with Sergio yesterday because we said, the people that believe in him in Mexico are the ignorant ones that don't know shit about boxing.
Yeah.
Because you can't put this guy in the same bracket with a Sanchez, with a Cuevas, with Chavez, Marquez, the other one from Tijuana.
Eric Morales.
Those are chingones. Those are guys that, hey, let's fight, man. This
Anybody.
guy is like, well, who's it? He's sort of like the guy, who am I going to spar with? It reminds you of the guys at the gym sometimes. Who am I sparring?
That's funny.
Well, I mean, folks, I hope we see those fights. I mean, I want to see Canelo already. He's been off for a while. I don't know who this guy is, but you know what? At the end of the day, if they put it up, people are going to watch. Folks, hey, and by the way, Victor Apodaca is 62. Man, he's a young 62. He looks good, man, for his age. Folks, don't forget that this podcast is being sponsored by a Detail Garage of El Paso. If you need to go check out that store, guys, I mean, they have everything. You go to the Pep Boys, a little aisle that has a couple of waxes and all that. No, this store is the mega store to detail your Jaguar.
I've heard good things about it.
That's a Jaguar. Jaguar.
Shit.
Yeah.
You got one of those, man.
Jaguar. No, that's not mine.
Jaguar.
I wish it was mine.
Okay.
It's the boss's.
Oh, you just borrow it sometimes.
Yeah.
Can I borrow it?
So, yeah, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in, guys. Ramon Rodriguez is on. Jaime Palacios. Jaime's always on the show with us. A good shout out to Jaime Palacios, brother. Here's another thing making headlines, and you guys are going to... I wanted to see what you think, Isaac. Oscar De La Hoya told ESPN at 47 years old that he would return to the ring at age 47. What do you think of that?
I'm telling you, the Mike Tyson interview that I saw, where he's talking about, fighters of his age fighting other fighters of his age. I'm for it. I'm for it.
Wow.
They still love the sport. I mean, they still love the sport. They trained so hard for it. They were at the top level. They can't live it down. Yeah. But they're fighting people their age. I don't want to see anybody go in there and get hurt. Muhammad Ali level.
I think that's where you're making a mockery of the sport because. It's like in golf you have the PGA, then you have the senior PGA.
But in golf,
you have the NBA, and then you have the WNBA. That's the same shit here.
Well, I mean,
come on, man, you're past the bus left, dude.
He said he's going to start sparring within the next week.
I want to see Hopkins and De La Hoya. Let's see that again.
Right?
They're promoter buddies and everything.
I was a big De La Hoya fan. I grew up with him. He's the 11-time titleist. He says he missed being in the ring. I love boxing. This is courtesy of ESPN boxing.
You want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
So when the pandemic first hit, the quarantine, the whole nation, Vegas is shut down, everything real heavy. He had, of course, I follow him on Instagram, and he had put on his story, ask me a question, right? He had put, ask me a question. So I asked him, I put on there, with all your years of training, your whole life, what hurts the most, now at an older age that you're retired? And he answered me. I was like, what? He answered me.
What did he say?
He was just my shoulders. And I was like, I felt special. I was like, what?
He talked to me.
And I showed one of my friends, and he was like, yeah, that man is bored.
You know what made De La Hoya so good? That he was very marketable inside the ring as well as outside. And that's what I give the man credit. He was very marketable in the sport, and he knew how to market himself very good. I mean, this guy can sell deodorant, and people will buy the deodorant because he said it was sweat free. I don't know. Daniel Vasquez is watching. Yes, the Jag is the CEO. Okay, and Daniel Vasquez, you're a big Amir Khan. Who is Amir Khan? Fuck. You see Urban? He just said, "Oh man," when I mentioned that name.
It's not even a sparring partner.
So De La Hoya is considering coming back. We'll see, man. I don't know, man. Maybe he'll fight Trinidad. I don't know.
Hey, but you know what I said?
Maybe he'll fight his Canela.
Yeah. There's been a lot of controversy.
He should fight Eddie Reynoso.
Eddie Reynoso. Well, folks, making headlines too are the females. And I'm going to talk about one of my favorite females coming up in the show right now. But unhurled 6-1 underdog last week, the underdog Jessica McCaskill became undisputed female welterweight champion by upsetting, yes, right, Cecilia Brækhus, which is 36-1. She was 36-0 by majority decision in a temporary ring on the streets of downtown Tulsa, Oklahoma. McCaskill got off to a good start. Brækhus came back in the second half of the fight. Scores were 95-95, 97-93, 97-94. McCaskill also spoiled Brækhus' bid for the 26th successful title defense to break Joe Louis's record, which was highly promoted in the lead up to the fight, and she won. Look at all their belts. She fucking won, man. It was a pretty exciting fight, and my congratulations to her. I'm for women's boxing. I like it. I like to watch it. It's exciting. So my kudos goes to her as well. So it's good for women's boxing, man. They've never headlined shows, and now with Clarissa Shields, and now this, this was good. So it was my congratulations to that. So speaking of that, we got some big fights on Saturday night. Welterweight Sebastian Formella is going to fight Sean Porter, and I like Sean Porter. He's a very exciting fighter.
He's a dog,
right?
He's a dog.
The Formella is from Germany, and he's going to make his USA debut. And you know what? And you might see this guy on the picture here. He doesn't look all tough, but these guys that come out from over there, they come hungry, man. They've traveled. He's gotten finally the opportunity for the first time to face a two-time world champion called Showtime, Sean Porter. It's going to be in Los Angeles, televised. And this is what he said, man. I have always said that I want to compete with the best. And Porter is the best. I like Porter. Right now I have the chance, even though I'm coming from Germany and the U.S. fans aren't as familiar with me, which I don't know who he is. Yeah. I'm ready to do whatever it takes, and that's what makes him a dangerous fighter. Remember Ruslan Provodnikov?
Hell yeah.
He was a dangerous fighter too,
dog,
man. And he came from nothing, and they travel, and you know what? These fighters come very humble, and that's what makes them dangerous.
Yeah.
They don't have much, and that's what makes him. He says he cannot wait to test himself against a welterweight superstar and fast beat Sean Porter. Hitting into this fight, guys, like I said, it's going to be awesome. And you know what? He's going to face a two-time 147-pound titleist Sean Porter, whose career's resume is littered with huge names and big names like the name of Earl Spence, one of my favorite fighters. There you go, Ed. Keith Thurman, and Danny Garcia.
And he's only lost to people that are on the pound-for-pound list.
Exactly. He's always fought the best. Sean Porter is action-packed Sean Porter. So guess what, folks? It's going to be on Fox. PBC is going to put that card from Los Angeles. Starts at 8 o'clock on Fox. Sean Porter versus Sebastian Formella. So it'll be a great night of welterweights for boxing. So, folks, it's going to be crazy because you don't even know what channels to watch. There's going to be fights everywhere. The next fight, guys, two other big fights on Saturday will be former light heavyweight champion Eleider Alvarez, right? And faces Joe Smith Jr. Do you guys know who Joe Smith Jr. is? This is going to be for the light heavyweight world title eliminator.
I don't.
Joe Smith Jr. Wasn't he the one that fought Bernard
You
Hopkins?
said light heavyweight?
That's him up there?
Mm-hmm.
Is he the... Oh, no, Alvarez. Didn't that guy Alvarez knock out Kovalev? Ugly.
The winner will face the Makasma winner of the WBO world title, which is Umar Salamov versus Maxim Lasov. All right, that's going to be for the vacant WBO. And folks, you can catch that fight on ESPN Plus. The undercards will be on ESPN Plus. This is a top-ranked card on ESPN. Alvarez versus Smith Jr. It should also be action-packed. Also on Saturday, on DAZN, WBC interim heavyweight titleist Dylan White risk his status as the mandatory challenger to Tyson Fury when he faces world titleist Alexander Povetkin. Dylan White has said it's been a frustrating time waiting over 1,000 days for his shot at the WBC World Heavyweight title as he prepares for Saturday. Last year, doubly frustrating for White in that he had a doping violation hanging over him until the eve of last fight in Saudi Arabia in December. The doping charge, which White strongly denied, was later dropped as the levels in his sample were very low. And that was questionable, too, because even if they're low, you must have put something in your body.
Yeah, he was there.
Right? White was cleared of him of any wrongdoing and proceeded to fight Maurice Watch, but after weighing in a career heaviest 271 pounds, now he gets a shot at this big guy. And again, folks, this is going to be at the Fight Camp Esses in the UK for the WBC interim heavyweight title, right? So that's going to be another big fight on
That guy
Saturday.
Dylan White's been calling out Wilder, no?
Yeah, and he wants to get known in the heavyweight. I don't know how he's going to do this Saturday. I like Povatkin to win this fight. But on the undercard, folks, is one of my favorite fighters, and that's the Triple G of women, Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor and Delphine Pearson. They
She
both.
looks
This
mean.
is part 2. They already fought, and Kayla Burley missed losing. I thought she had lost the fight, even though she's my favorite. But I thought Pearson fucking beat her, man. They both have said they have points to prove on Saturday's rematch to decide the undisputed world lightweight champion of women's boxing. Taylor is 15-0. It is a chance, she said, to silence those who argue she did not deserve the majority points over Pearson in a very close encounter, guys, to unify all major world titles in 2019.
Oh, man.
For Pearson, this is an opportunity to correct what she felt was rightfully hers.
She's
right?
the one that's a cop.
Yeah, Pearson is 35 years old. And
I like cop boxers. They're my favorite ones.
And check this out. She has continued to combine her training with a full-time job as a police officer. On the Boxing Reporter today, there was a post that said, hey, man, she's fighting for all the blue line people, all my law enforcement buddies. Hey, this is for you. Hopefully everybody get out there to watch this fight. It's going to be on DAZN. And let me tell you, man, this is the fight to be at. This is the fight to watch. Taylor versus Pearson for the undisputed lightweight title from UK Week 4 Fight Camp, and it's also going to be broadcast on Sky Sports Box Office. That's going to be a pay-per-view over there, and on DAZN. So if you have DAZN, folks, guess what? You're going to be treated to a hell of a fight. It's a big Saturday night of boxing, folks. Hey, man, let's get ready. We're going to get back on the saddle. Hey, I love Katie Taylor, guys, but fuck, man, I also like Pearson to go. Just because, how hard, Herman, do you think it is to have a full-time job and have a part-time boxing career?
Oh man, it's
real hard.
It's impossible. It's possible, but it's beyond tough.
When I fought,
you're tired, and then you got to go to the gym, and sometimes you just leave everything at work, and your mind's going through other shit that takes up all the.
I mean, just being a cop is frustrating.
Trade.
Just imagine.
You're the one that runs the Battle of the Badges,
Clash
right?
of the Titans.
Clash of the Titans. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I remember you matched me one
Yeah,
year.
I know.
And when I heard he was a cop, I was like, dude, this guy's working 50 hours a week or more. I was like, I got this. I was like, poor guy. I'm in the gym all day.
Yeah, and it was a good fight. The event was great, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I love
Clash of the Titans, man.
I think that guy can the public see this guy?
No, this is only on YouTube.
I said that guy looks
Only
like
on
he
YouTube.
used to hang out at the Joe, John, and Mark.
Joe, John, and Marks.
That's what he looks like.
We both agree, man, that having a full-time job is going to be hard for her.
It's tough.
And then going after a Katie Taylor even harder for her to win, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be tough, folks. So that's what's making headlines, folks. DJ, yes, I'm not a Canelo lover, but hey, man, I got to give what credit is due. I mean, we'll see, man, right? Folks, we're here on the Web Boxing Podcast 101. We had a lot of subscribers. You know who subscribed to my channel was Luis Pabon, legendary
Who that?
international referee, Luis
Oh,
Pabon.
wow.
So we'd like to welcome him on the show as well. And folks, today we got professional prize fighter from San Elizario, Texas, El Paso, is Mr. Issac Luna on the show today. And today's show is being presented by Detail Garage of El Paso, Texas. Go see the guys at 2260 North Saragossa for all auto detailing supplies. And when they say superstore, it is a superstore. Make your passion shine. And then also, we'd like to give a shout out to the Healthy Start. Live healthier and happier. Folks, for all you boxers, and Isaac, you're here, and we're going to talk about your preparation of fight. We're really going to hand it over to you now. But, this guy does meal preps for fighters, especially for boxers. And his name is Carlos Diaz. And his business is called Healthy Start. You name it, man. He has everything from salmon, chicken skewer, eggplant rolls, grilled chicken, per day, weekly, 2 weeks, monthly for athletes. And he makes the meal preps, whatever you want, he put in the plate.
Tell me
when you go to meal preps, they'll have it already ready. This is what you take. Not with Carlos and Elda. They'll make it whatever you want, then they deliver for free. They don't need Uber. They deliver personal to your gym, to your trainers. Guys, these guys are awesome. Call them up at 915-245 5949. So,
I
folks,
guess taquitos de tripitas are out of the question.
well, maybe tripitas with spinach.
Yeah,
I
tripitas
don't know.
without
Put
the
some
tortilla.
green in it.
Yeah, there you go. And I'm all right.
Put some green in it, right? Well, Isaac Nathaniel Luna, again, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, growing up, schools, and family.
You know what? I'm from El Paso. I'm from the Lower Valley area. I went to Paso Del. I grew up around that area. I went to Rio Bravo Middle School, and then from there I went to Isleta. But so I boxed when I was a younger kid, and then I kind of like my parents kind of separated, and then my dad was the one that had me in the gym. So what I tell parents that are bringing in kids into the boxing gym, I tell them, hey, look, you're training this kid to beat people up. You need to have him in the gym all the time, because that was my problem. I stopped being in the gym and I started beating people up at school, right? And started getting in trouble. So when I got into high school, I kept getting in trouble, and they were like, hey, no more, get your GED. So I got my GED like at 16, and I was in college before everybody, but so
then you said, when parents come to you, so you run a boxing gym in El Paso? Tell us about that.
Well, we just opened up a new boxing gym. I've trained people here off and on, very recently, because my main focus has just been fighting. Very recently, I decided to tackle training, because I understand that me learning how to get people. Well, first it was a challenge that I wanted to take on, of course.
All right.
And but now that I'm good at it, and I'm like, wow, I'm really good at it.
What is your gym called?
It's called Mollywop Academy.
Okay, what is that name all about? Mollywop Academy.
All right,
okay.
so
tell us about Mollywop.
Okay, does it first off, before I answer that question, does it sound attractive? Does it sound appealing, or does it sound like
Mollywop? Every time you go to, I don't know what it means.
Does it sound threatening?
No, not at all.
See, because whenever we're talking to marketing guys, right? When we're talking to marketing guys, they're like, okay, so if you want to have a healthy gym that's thriving, you can't have something that's threatening. You can't have there's gonna be girls there. They can't.
Mine's threatening.
Yeah, they say, man, you gotta
have it more inviting. But what did you also agree that what is the gym for?
It's for fighting, yeah, it's for fighting.
Okay, so tell us more about the name. Go ahead.
So Mollywop. I was telling.
It is different and unique. I like it. Okay.
Well, the guys that we started the business together, opening up the gym. They're boxers too. Shout out Danny Wright, and shout out Gabe Rivera. Shout out Heavy Artillery, Cesar Carvajal. That's my school. That's the school that I teach. Cesar, that's my boy. That's my brother. So I was telling them a story of when I was at Nationals, and I saw the worst beating of my life. I've never seen an ass whooping that bad. Even now at the pro level, I've seen people get knocked out, but I've never seen just a mollywhopping. Look up mollywop, the definition. I was telling them, they're like, that would be an awesome name for the gym, and they looked it up, and it's just an excessive beating with fists.
That's what it is?
That's the definition. Look it up.
Wow, I didn't know what that meant.
An excessive beating, more likely with fists.
Instead of ass whooping, give him a mollywop.
So the good thing is that it doesn't sound threatening, but it does mean beating ass.
Mollywop in our Urban Dictionary stands for, I'm looking it up right now. Mollywop, when a grown man beats another grown man as if he were a girl under the age of 10. Getting mollywhopped or whopped is not a regular.
Wow, see, that's the thing. It's appealing because nobody knows what it means, and it doesn't sound right. But that's a heavy word.
That's pretty cool.
That's how bad that beating was when I was at Nationals.
So how has your gym been? How has it been, man? How's your gym?
We've opened up.
Because of the pandemic, man. It's been tough.
That's how crazy we are about boxing, that we just straight opened up a gym in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, that was
right? A challenge, man.
When you told me off air that you had a gym, I was like, man, you just opened it because it's fairly new.
Yeah.
We were like, man, I was like, man, that's gutsy, man.
Well, we don't even have, we haven't even had a grand opening.
Okay.
We've had a soft opening. I've let in some clients that have been hitting me up, for a while, that they wanted to train. So I have right now about 7 to 8, paying clients.
Okay.
Of course, the objective is to have enough clients to pay rent and bills, without,
Of course.
So we're gonna need about, we did the math the other day, I think like 22, right? We're already almost there in 1 week.
Good. And where is it located at?
We're at 2011 Myrtle.
Okay, right in the
20
heart of downtown.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well,
On the outskirts of downtown.
yeah, like Borderland Brawler just recently closed down.
Yeah.
We're real sad about that.
Yeah,
You know,
Jerry, my shout out to Jerry there.
shout out to Jerry, man. He's always been good to me. Shout out to Guillermo Galarza. He's always been good to me. So yeah, Borderland
you used to
Brawler.
train there.
Yeah, that's where I was training. During the pandemic too. Cause
Jerry called me, and he was on the show already too. And yeah, man, it was sad to see him leave.
real
man.
sad, man. Real
So,
sad.
but that opens doors for you. I mean, as a business sense, that
So
sucks.
some
that
of the
might
guys,
sound,
yeah,
but, yeah.
some of the guys that that's
Because
where I met Danny.
There's no gym downtown. Is there?
Yeah. No boxing gyms. No boxing gyms. Well, that's why I bring up Borderland Brawler where Jerry was running his gym. Like I said, shout out
What
Jerry.
happened to that place?
Pandemic.
No, but what's there now?
It's an empty building.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the real estate would rather just have an empty building now.
Yeah, upstairs they had I remember they used
Weights.
to have weights and all that. Then downstairs, it was real small.
Yeah.
It's real small.
Yeah. Jerry did his thing as best as he could.
Yeah,
you know?
he did. He did a good job though,
Yeah.
because I'd see him taking those kids out there to run outside. and
I
stuff
think that
like
was pretty cool. And right in the heart of downtown.
Oh, well, that's what I was getting at. That was in the heart of downtown. We're a little bit more like
Yeah, on the
central
outskirts.
downtown, like in
Right off of
between.
Eucalyptus, right?
Right.
Because
Eucalyptus
we've
is
had
the
tournaments
crossroad.
there. We had tournament.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
we
is exactly
we
where.
went to matches there one time.
yeah.
So sorry, I'm all
we had
pointing.
some of
That's
ours,
not
man.
respectful.
Yeah, man. So,
It's that
Well-
same gym where they had that.
well, my best wishes to
Thank
your
you.
gym, man.
Of course,
and,
I appreciate it.
We'll promote it as much as we can. You want to again tell the fans where it's at and what are your hours?
So again, right now we're open. We open up at 5 a.m. To 12 to midnight. We're open mad hours because we want that.
You're open
guapo.
from what?
5 a.m. to midnight. Yeah, we're letting people in, come in, punch bags.
Wow.
Around
Do
your
you
schedule.
get people like at 11 at night?
Right now, see, like our night times are really empty. Like we're not there at that time. It's, like
So how do people get in?
I've told people, like right now, like I said, soft opening. So if somebody wants to go at that time, like if I have left, message me, and we'll come open it up.
And so I'm
I live-
assuming you live close
I
by.
live down the street. Yeah,
Oh,
I live down the
okay.
street. So also, Danny
Midnight
lives down the
boxing.
street.
Remember midnight
Yeah.
basketball?
But right now, so my big thing, like we're gonna have cardio boxing and all that. But you guys, I mean, I'm here. I'm a prize fighter. I'm a professional boxer. My big thing is, if you're gonna come in here, you're gonna fight. In 2-3 months, I'm gonna get you ready. I know what it takes to get to. Yeah, I know what it takes to get fight ready. And like I said, I'm proud of myself. I'm a good trainer. So I have like 6 or 7 guys that show up at like 6 a.m. dude.
Wow, that's good. Yeah, I mean, you get a lot of people show up early.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, well, man, you know what? My best for your gym.
appreciate it. Thank you.
And don't forget to tell your fighters if they want to eat healthy. A lot of the fighters do, getting prepared for amateur or pro fight. Visit the Healthy Start. Carlos Diaz and Elda at 245-5949 for your meal preps.
I'm gonna look into
simply
them.
the best. And I got some literature. So
We'll take some.
Yeah,
We'll take
put
some.
it up on your gym. I'm telling you, they're simply the best. They really go out for the fighters, and they're actually also they're into the fitness as well as a husband and wife. And so yeah, hit up the Healthy Start. They're very good for meal prep. So Isaac, tell us a little bit about your amateur experience.
So in the amateurs, we did our thing, Cesar, my trainer, like I said, I remember they had been giving me offers to go pro when I was training under Mr. Mata. That was my first trainer. And
Man, Mr. Mata, that was also
That was
your
my
trainer.
trainer for
I know that was Herman's
my
trainer.
whole career.
And did he help you with Johnny Tapia?
No,
Because you posted some pictures with Johnny, and he was there.
Oh, he just happened to be there at the gym
Oh,
when I
okay.
went with Mr. Mata. I just the one that hooked me up with Mr. Mata with Johnny Tapia was I forgot who it was, but that's how boxing is. That's how you get the big breaks, just out of somebody puts in a name, and I got lucky, man.
Wow,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
You guys are and Mr. Mata's a legend here in El
the
Paso.
Yeah,
legend.
Mr.
You know what's
Mata's
crazy? I was his last fighter that went like 8-0 with him. And then
Wow.
after that, he retired.
Yeah, I mean, his
Yeah.
health has deteriorated significantly,
Yeah,
unfortunately, but he's probably still doing pretty good, fair.
Yeah, I called him the other day. He wasn't around, but I call him regularly to check on him and Mrs. Mata.
So
Okay.
I left the gym this morning because I'm like, I gotta go to the podcast. I gotta get a haircut, right? So I left and actually I had an appointment. And I get back and Danny's like, hey, the other gym owner, he's like, hey, Mr. Mata was here. And I'm like, oh, yeah, right.
Oh,
He's like,
really?
I told him, I was like, you probably have him confused with somebody. He's like, no, I think it's him because he never met him before. And I was like, I showed him a picture that I have on my Facebook. And he was like, yeah, that was him. I was like, what?
So he's still out and about.
I guess
wow,
so.
wow.
I guess so.
All right, man. Saludos para Mr. Mata.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. Your amateur experience, I'm pretty sure when there were some highlights and lows. If you can change one thing of your amateur experience, what would it have been?
Well, I mean, going back to the first question, what you asked was when I decided to go pro. Cesar was I had to leave from Mr. Mata to go to Cesar because Mr. Mata is a little older, pre-matching, things of that nature.
Okay.
If you're not careful,
Okay.
you're gonna say, hey man, this is this guy's first fight, right? But okay, this is my first fight too, my first pro fight. But little do you know, homeboy, just came off of a gold medal at an Olympic tournament,
Okay.
and has 150 amateur fights.
Okay.
So that's when I went over to Cesar, and then I wanted to go pro right there, and Cesar was like, no, we need to learn how to win, man, because I had like eight amateur fights
So,
or wins.
so your amateur experience wasn't as much.
I had about 30 fights.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you decide to. So if you can change one thing of the amateur world, what would it be?
Honestly, I wish I would have started with Cesar from the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Because he's such a great trainer.
Okay.
He's such a great trainer. I know now how important a trainer is. Every bend of the knee, every turn of the hip, every.
So Cesar is, I'm assuming, at your gym.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's there.
And he's from Heavy Artillery.
He's heavy artillery.
Yeah,
That's
we know
his.
who they are, so my shout out to them as well. So as a young amateur, what makes you turn pro? When did you know it was time?
At the end, I started getting the dream of, getting onto the national team, and I was ranked nationally.
Okay.
We went to a couple tournaments. We got robbed at a tournament. A lot of people say that, Cesar doesn't lie, man. And when he told me that, he was like, dude, we just got robbed. I was like, we got to take, if they would have given me the win, we couldn't, say Cesar never lies. He doesn't say stuff like that. So he said we got robbed. And then after that, Cesar was like, hey, man, you know what? We have to go pro, and I agreed. And then we were sparring people. I'm not going to name names, but we were piecing up dudes that had been at the high level, and they were like, yeah, dude, you're ready to go pro. So we jumped on it.
You just jumped on it, right?
Jumped on it.
Wow. You're coming out of a defeat in your last fight against Jose Luis Sanchez from Albuquerque. What happened, and how do you look forward for your next fight? And there's all kind of stuff going on. There are injuries. You have an injury in your hand.
Yeah.
Pandemic hails over us. So there's a lot of distractions for you now. So how hard is it coming out of a defeat there, Isaac? And how do you go forward from that?
Okay, so when you lose, and I never really lost at 100%.
Okay.
If you lose and you worked hard enough,
Okay.
it doesn't feel like a loss, right? If you put everything you had into it. I lost this fight. I had been hurt since March of last year. My knees were hurting, and my knees had just been hurt. I had excessive swelling in my ligaments. The doctors basically said, you're just going to have to rest. It's not bad enough to where we're going to do surgery, which is unfortunate because you would heal faster, but you're just going to have to rest. And I messed up that I kept training, and I didn't want to stop fighting.
All right.
So in March, it was when I got hurt. And then I think like in July, I fought somebody out of Albuquerque that was like 14-0. But, we knew that we would knock him out. So we knocked him out in like the second round. When I fought Jose Luis, it had been longer that I couldn't even run 2 miles. I couldn't jump rope. My knees were hurting that bad. And honestly, I lost a decision, a close decision. He didn't touch me. Even at 60%, we were like, we got this guy.
Home cooking, huh? For him?
Even at 60%, we're like, we got this. We're going to do it. We're going to beat him up. He trained hard. He knew that we were coming. In Albuquerque, they call me the Albuquerque Killer.
Wow.
Yeah, they call me the Albuquerque Killer because I've pieced up and taken down like 4 or 5 of their undefeated guys.
So are you looking to fight him again?
Yeah, we already have that in contract. That was
The stipulation that you're going to fight him again.
We're gonna fight him again.
So you're coming off of this loss, and obviously the pandemic is over you. Then you have a hand injury too, right? And that's hard for a fighter to have that type of injury because at any point hitting the bag, it can come back, correct?
The thing is once you break in one place, it's never going to break in that same exact place. That's like a myth, right? Right now, what I'm working with is I have just like aggravated nerves, aggravated ligaments. My pain receptors aren't used to anything anymore because I had a cast on for like 7 weeks. So
that was tough for you.
Oh man, it was very 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 tough. I've gotten over heartbreaks easily. I've gotten over failing financially easily. But take my boxing career, that's all I work for.
So So, I mean, so you have a contract fight with this guy already. What is? Do you have a date for it already, or?
So I was training since January. I was able to start running again,
Okay.
and then I was getting in really good shape. Like I said, shout out to Jerry, because during the pandemic, he let me train there. I was still able to train there, just me and Cesar.
Where you call your gym right now?
Yeah, well, Borderland Brawler.
Oh, okay. I'm Jerry. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, before it closed down. So he let me train there during the whole pandemic because you know, he knew I had a fight coming up at the end of July, and it was already signed.
Okay.
There with Legacy Promotion. Shout out Legacy, and so the fight was going to be the end of July. I break my hand June 9th.
Oh man, that's a bummer.
Or two days after my birthday.
Shit, man.
Turned 25, break my hand 2 days later.
And all start. I mean, the training went down the drain to start all over again. Herman, how hard is it to come back from an injury, man? You being a pro fighter too.
Oh, it's tough, man. I broke my hand too, and I, you know, it had a cast on it. I took it off in 2 weeks.
You said fuck.
I didn't give a shit.
Where'd you break it?
Oh, I don't even. It was the left hand. I broke it with a jab.
Oh
But
man.
my hand it was swollen, and I what was it? Monsiváis, I think, was the doctor that treated me. They said when I went back, I broke it again because I took the cast off.
Yeah. You didn't let it properly
No.
heal.
I was like, I'm
Stubborn.
young, and
You know what is because I lost that fight because I didn't let my knees heal, and I kept trying to
It's so
train.
important to rest and heal, right?
And when this happened, I like the first week that I had it on, I ran like one time, and then I went to the doctors and they took it off, and I saw that there was pins sticking out of my hand. They weren't like, you see the holes there?
Yeah.
They were sticking out, dude. They were like a centimeter out, and I was like, yo, I cannot be running. Like, I just need to stop. So I did. I mean, maybe 15 miles at the most when I was.
So right now, are you 100%?
No.
When would you be 100%?
Give me
Isaac?
maybe 2 months. 3
Wow,
months.
2 months,
Yeah.
and we'll hopefully that'll catapult you to the next year. Hopefully the pandemic is done,
Yeah.
and we can go back to normality. Correct?
I have we already, like, on BoxRec, I'm already, like, I still have a suspended contract, and it's suspended because they keep pushing back dates.
Yeah.
So I don't know what date it's pushed back to right now, but we already have a signed contract with Legacy, and like today is the first day that I hit a double end bag, and it felt good because the physical therapist told me, hey, start trying to take some impact,
Good.
see how it feels.
Well, good luck to you, man. You've heard from other local pro fighters, and we've all heard them here local, that it's hard to get a promoter, or they just can't get funded by a promoter, a big promoter like Top Rank, the Golden Boy, Matchroom, whatever. Do you have a promoter? Is that in your case as well? Because we always hear of local promoters, like, they don't get signed by these wiggles, and they it's hard for them to get funding. You know? I mean, luckily, we've had like Golden Eagle Promotions that we helped co-promote the last Jennifer Hahn fight, Tony Aguilar. Mike, shout out to him. But other than that, I mean, we have nobody. Is that in your case, Isaac, getting a promoter hard?
The thing is I mean, we've gotten calls from Golden Boy. We've gotten calls from, I fought a money team fighter,
Okay.
We've gotten calls from Top Rank.
Okay.
Cesar, like I said, my trainer,
Okay.
and now at this level, I know how important a trainer is. You'll hear a fighter say, "Hey, man, I got to shout out my team, my trainer," but they'll never get the only people that know, how important they are, other fighters and other trainers, right?
Of course.
So, like I said, Cesar, he's my manager. And sometimes we'll get calls from one matchmaker, and then he's like, "Okay, let me find the origin." And the matchmaker says, "Okay, well, we're 15,000 for this fight, right?" And then he'll get a hold of the actual promoter, and they're like, "No, it was 20."
Okay,
right?
yeah,
Because
okay.
matchmakers do that. They're gonna shave a little bit off of the top,
Of
right?
course.
So Cesar, we've been offered to sign like with a couple different companies. We didn't really like the stipulations that they wanted. They wanted me to go live in Phoenix and my trainer stay here and train other fighters. I'm like, dude, because I fought over there and I beat one of their fighters, and then they offered us a good deal. But they wanted that to happen. I'm like, the only reason that my fight technique is at the level it's at is because of my trainer. Why would I go do something like that?
Of course. So your pro history shows all of your bouts are out of town, not in El Paso. Is that by choice, or why haven't you not fought here in your hometown?
We can't wait to fight in El Paso. It's just not a boxing city. It's just not. There's been, since I've been pro, there's been like one pro fight here, and I was hurt at that time.
Oh, fuck. I mean, the last Jennifer Hahn fight couldn't get in that card.
When was it?
February.
February of this year.
Jerry
I think
Sykes.
that's when I was hurt.
Oh, that's
I think
right.
they actually offered. They offered us some fights, and they actually offered us Josue Garcia. And
He fought in that undercard.
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
We got him on the
He
show.
did.
Who did he fight?
I don't remember.
I don't know, but he looked pretty good, huh?
Looked all right.
Yeah.
At 100%, I mean, all my respects to Garcia. He's a great guy. Great guy. His gym is on fire.
Yeah.
Garcia's House of Boxing. Shout out to Josue.
So would you
He's a
fight
friend.
him?
I'll take that fight in a day.
Does he know that?
I'm sure my name came up in that contract. I'm sure that
Wow,
my
maybe
name
we'd love
came
to
up
see
on
you
his
here in El
phone.
Paso.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And like I said, all my respects to him. You know, he's a friend. But I would love to have that show here in El Paso at the Coliseum with my name on that banner.
Well, hopefully we can see that in the future, man. After this pandemic, and I mean, we got to get back to normality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you strategize your next year and moving forward and getting fights and getting known? What are the plans, man? How do you strategize in getting known? Is that a managerially question, or as a fighter, how do you manage that? I mean, what are you going to be doing? How do you strategize? How do you get known?
Going forward, it's like I tell people, when your name's in there on BoxRec, they're gonna be calling. They're gonna be calling, offering dumb fights. Hey, $5,000 for your first fight. You're gonna get put in there with the lion.
Which, like Gutierrez,
right?
man, he fights all kinds of fights. Huh?
Yeah, Gabriel gets a
Gutierrez.
lot of fights.
Oh man, I don't want to name names. Don't do that to me.
You know Gabe?
Yeah, I know Gabe.
Yeah, but box rec is for everybody.
Yeah. I mean,
Everybody. That's how you keep track of fighters. and
He's
all
a
that.
friend. He's a friend, and like I
Have
said,
you sparred him?
Yeah, of course.
He spars
of
everybody.
Course. Yeah. He actually really hits hard. He really hits hard. Really slow, but he hits hard. No, but so they'll hey, come be on TV for your third fight, and it's like it's a bad deal. They're sending you to the sharks.
Of course.
And right now, like I said, we've gotten calls from Top Rank. We've gotten calls. Cesar gets calls daily, like 4 or 5 calls. In the past week, I've been offered like 3 or 4 $10,000, $15,000 fights. Going forward, we're coming back from an injury. I'm coming back off of my longest layoff as a pro, and we're gonna take the right steps. I'm not there to fight chumps. I don't train the way I do to get in there and fight somebody that doesn't. Yeah, I'll be running. I'm back on my run.
Yeah, I see you that on Facebook.
So I don't train the way I do to fight chumps. And going forward, just like in the amateurs, heavy artillery always fought the best opposition. We looked for it. We would go to other cities to fight the best opposition, just like in the pros. I've already fought. I lost a close decision to a money team fighter. In the Rio casino. So we're gonna do the same thing.
Well, we'll be looking out for you, man.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Do you think the boxers are like minor league baseball players, in the sense that if you can actually stay at mid-level range and never get called up to the majors like Top Rank, Golden Boy? Do you think about that? Do you think the race is on for a fighter that is already in the mid-20s?
You know what? I mean, for me personally, the race has been on since I first decided to put on gloves, since I was 20, right? There is, and to answer your question, like if that is a real thing, yes, there's people that are okay with going and fighting, bum fights that are going and fighting like in Amarillo. I fought in Amarillo, and all of the opponents over there were just like pushovers. The people from Amarillo were there looking real nice, knocking out 40-year-old dudes, dudes that were like this much shorter than them but all fat, and that's why they were the same weight. That's not an objective for us. We're not doing this to be popular in El Paso. We're not doing this. I want gold. I want that gold-plated belt.
But you got to keep in mind, though, along the way, I used to take fights in Chihuahua. It was an easy win for me, but from that easy win, I got a big shot in Las Vegas, Atlantic City. It's just a process.
Yeah, it's a process, of course.
Of course,
you gotta. And that's why we're taking the right steps. We're gonna fight people that are smart for us, but also a challenge, so that way we're getting better and being ranked up. Because Oscar De La Hoya, right? He's the top promoter at Golden Boy. He knows you could have 40,000. I mean, you could have 40 pro fights, all wins, knockouts, but you're at half a star rating because you fought nothing but dudes that are 0-15, 0-12, 0-40. There's people out there that are like 1-40, So at the high level, they know that. So I mean, those fights are necessary. I would never go to Mexico and pay a fighter to die for me, because that's a real thing, That's a real thing. I would never do that. But, of course, we're going to fight the right opposition at the right times, level up when it's time, and, just dominate like we did in the amateurs.
And hopefully, you get known here in El Paso. And we need El Paso fighters, man. We need. It's always fun to go see events and see local pro fighters. And I know all your fights have been out, but hopefully you get a shot here in El Paso to fight, like you mentioned, at the El Paso County Coliseum, or even closer once everything gets back to normality, right?
Yeah, no, of course. And it hurts saying, once I get back to 100%, because the bone fracture hurt, but putting my career on hold hurt more. So once I'm back at 100%, like when I debuted in June of 2018. By January of 2019, I already had 6 fights.
Okay.
We were on the move, just like in the amateurs. We used to fight twice monthly. So once I'm back at 100%, like I said, it hurts to say that. But once I'm back at 100%, it's gonna be just like it was.
Do you get? Is it pretty hard to get sponsors?
Not whenever you're fighting pro. It's
Okay.
as amateurs, that's really hard.
Oh yeah.
They think
boxing's hard in El Paso for amateurs.
Yeah, for amateur.
We have a fight team here. I mean, it's hard.
I was trying to get to the nationals. I was
That's
like,
hard.
But once you're pro and they see the pictures and they see the the lights,
It's like Kayla Gomez. I mean, they homeschool her, I believe, and they travel all over the United States. And it's hard to get funded. They don't get funded. We don't have an embassy the size of South Texas, Mid Texas. We just don't have the funds to fund amateur fighters to go to nationals. We've heard a lot of people, they pay their own way, and in some LBCs they pay them to go. When you were going to state, would you get funded by the LBC?
I got funded by the LBC, and then they gave us a little money to eat every day. But I always got sponsors.
they should have
As an
tournaments.
amateur.
As an amateur, I got a shitload.
They
of
should have
sponsors.
regional tournaments like for Golden Gloves, but for state. For nationals, because
Yeah.
Golden Gloves is. It's a prestigious thing, but it's not like it was, right?
No,
It's not like
it was. That's a couch boxer thing. Like, oh yeah, I had my Golden Gloves. Like, okay, shut up, right?
Yeah. It's not like it used to be.
No, yeah.
I remember in speaking to guests that we've had on the show that people would know who El Paso fighters were, and the Golden Glove tournament here in El Paso was something to be reckoned with, and people would, hey man, recognize as a huge event. It was a big weekend. Now it's hard to even get fucking 50 people in there. Part of those 50 people, if we do, are all the fighters and the coaches and the officials.
Right.
I used to go, I remember the state Golden Gloves up there in Fort Worth when we had it at the Will Rogers Coliseum. You had guys like Donald Curry, Tony Ayala, Jesse Benavides, Ronnie Shields.
Yeah, at
All
the
those
Golden
guys
Gloves.
they were fighters when I was.
I gotta
fighting.
shout out my mom, guys. I gotta
So,
shout out my mom.
go
She
ahead.
just texted me, right?
Good,
Because
good.
she's been my biggest sponsor since
Of course,
nationals, man.
it's
She used
your
to
mom.
I'd be like, Mom, I don't have, we're trying. Like, it was one time this big old thing happened. Like, some BS happened. Some, money fell through, and like, okay, now we don't have plane tickets, right? We all were supposed to have plane tickets and hotels paid for.
Okay.
And I'm like, Mom. Sends me like a rack, right? Like, get over there. And me and Cesar drove
moms.
22 hours, bro, to Chattanooga.
Wow. So it's those hard struggles. You mentioned
Love
that
you, Mama.
Yeah. All right, Mom. Good to hear for your son here today. And you mentioned that El Paso was not a boxing city. Victor Apodaca just posted El Paso supports boxing. You know what?
In the boxing community, the boxing community loves boxing. There's like when you said earlier,
but
like
the boxing community is us.
Yeah.
Outside of the boxing community, they don't.
That's why, like you were saying earlier, like, will this save boxing? Like, boxing doesn't need saving. There's hardcore fans. It's gonna be here.
But let me tell you one thing. In the last Jennifer Hahn fight, there was 4,000 people there. Come on, man.
Yeah, you had more people at
the Clash of the Titans.
Yeah.
I had 3,800 for an amateur show.
Jeez,
the
that's
last
horrible.
time. For an amateur, it's great.
Yeah, no, I mean,
But
yeah,
for the Jennifer Hahn fight, it was 4. And she's
Pobrecita,
El Paso.
Dude, she has a
She's
world title.
Exactly,
She
and
has a world title.
4,000 people. I just believe that El Paso thinks cheap. You know what I mean? We're just.
You can't get
culture, man.
you get people complaining about going to the Chihuahuas for the $5 seats out back in the center field, and those are great seats.
Are they $5?
Like, $5, man, and you still got people bitching about
People
it.
bitch about everything. You know what? El Paso want. And I'm going to tell you something, Isaac. Good luck on your business, man. El Paso wants everything free. I'm sorry, man. They want everything free, man.
You know what? I had this one guy.
You're going to have people walk in, and I'm sorry, man. What do you do for the while I'm in the military? Do you have any discounts? Really, bro? You want a discount, man?
I'm pushing, man.
You're gonna see, man.
Dude, my thing is like, look, if you're here, you're gonna learn how to fight. Whether you just want to post on social that you're in a boxing gym with some gloves, you're gonna learn how to fight with me. You know, because I'm a professional boxer. I'm coming from a good school, and I'm at the level where I can teach that school. So you're gonna come here, you're gonna learn how to fight.
But people don't understand that you're trying to sell your experience.
No. But I don't give them that choice either. Like, it's not free here. You get one free day, and if you want to sign up and pay me, you can start.
Yeah, we got boxers here. We don't have any pros here, but we got boxers here, and we train them differently than versus people that just want to work out. And we respect that because,
yeah, of course,
hey, they just want to come in.
That's a different part of the business.
Yeah.
You need people that are just here to lose weight.
Victor
You need people that just want
just mentioned the business part is the problem. It's a $5 ticket city.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you'll go to Houston, and people support boxing. Ronnie Shields is out there. I mean, we have our local celebrities here, in that, boxing community, we all support each other. But other than that, really, we don't have a lot of people support like people like you. We don't see it. In other words, the city doesn't get involved. You know what we're going to have on our show coming up is the mayor to be, Oscar Leeser.
Oh wow,
He's a good guy.
He's a good
I
guy.
think
He's
I
going
met
to
him
come
one
on the
time.
show pretty good. He's going to run for mayor again, and we fully support him.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about it maybe on the plans to support the city again, because they used to support boxing a lot, not just football and other
well, of course you're
sports,
going to
but
bring it up.
boxing.
It's in a boxing gym on a podcast.
No, we're going to bring up the fact that the city, why does the city get more involved in supporting tournaments in their venues? Like it used to be. I mean, Golden Gloves, we even held at the Carolina Center.
It used to be held at Pavo Real.
Pavo Real. Now we don't have that.
You know what's crazy? And because I haven't fought in El Paso, and I really want to, of course. Like I said, my first concert I ever went to was at the Coliseum. The first pro fight that I ever went to was at the Coliseum. I can't wait to fight there. But I remember at one time, I fought in casinos. I've fought in mostly casinos, and then I fought like in a theater in Phoenix. And my trainer is like, "Hey, there's a fight here in El Paso that's going down." And like, you just get in fight mode, right? Like fight week, they say, hey man, make weight. You get in fight mode, and you're like, okay, you're starting to prepare for the lights. You're starting to prepare for everything. You're starting to prepare to get your gloves on. I start meeting up with 8-pounders to get ready, used to the weight. And I remember thinking, like, I was driving down Alameda, and I was like, yo, this is like a pueblo. There's not one building here. There's not, like, going down Alameda, like where
Building
Delta
for
is.
what?
No, like just like there's no like 2-story place. Like they're all shacks going down Alameda, and it's like that everywhere, even downtown. Like, and then I started thinking about it. Like, there's no, like, they're all abandoned. They're all abandoned, dude.
Yeah, they're all
there's
abandoned.
no, like, there's like a
There's no money.
like pobrecita, like a Mexican lady trying to cut hair, keep her business afloat.
Yeah, exactly. We don't support local here. We need to support local, man. I mean, that's why, for me, man, I think Oscar's the best fit for El Paso, man.
Oh, absolutely. He's down to earth, man.
So
He's a good guy.
He's got my
help
vote.
us.
He's got my
He's
vote.
got my vote too. So hopefully we'll have him on the show here pretty soon. I know it's in the works.
But yeah, when I got in fight mode here in El Paso was whenever I was like, oh my god, like this place is like, what? I don't even want to fight here. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just joking. I can't wait to fight here, but it's just not a fight city.
I mean, that was another reason why Golden Eagle Promotions does their fights out of town, because they don't support it here. And here we go again. Everybody wants everything free. Everybody wants a cut. Everybody wants something
Well,
free.
let me shout out my business one more time, Mollywop Academy. We're gonna turn out some great fighters. Whether you just want to come and cardio boxing, we're gonna have cardio boxing classes, but you're gonna learn how to throw punches the right way. And one free day, and then after that, we're gonna need that payment.
Yeah,
100 to start off. 25 sign up fee, 75 monthly. And after that, we're 75 monthly.
75 monthly. All right. So, guys, don't forget this podcast, as we're almost to our last, is being sponsored by Detail Garage, Auto Detailing Supplies Superstore at 2260 North Saragossa. It's open Monday through Sunday. All right, folks. And for all my listeners, they're offering 15% off. 15% off coupon code, and the code is WebBoxing101. Go up to the counter and just say, hey, I'm a podcast listener. It's called WebBoxing101. Will be the coupon code, 15% off of all your purchases. We're here with Issac Luna today at Warriors Edge Boxing Gym. Again, being sponsored by Detail Garage, Auto Detailing Supplies Superstore. And the code again is WebBoxing101 to get your percent off, 15% off. Just say Web Boxing 101. Isaac, it's been great to have you, and we're going to do something that we call on the show called Rapid Fire. Are you ready?
Let's get it.
Rapid Fire, we'll ask you a couple of questions, non-boxing and boxing related, and you got to take care of business. You got it? You ready to go?
Let's do it.
And you know what? It was fun when we did Rapid Fire with Victor Apodaca. You know, he's like a food critic too, and he loves Chico's Tacos.
Oh, yeah.
So then we said, all right, Chico's Tacos or Frisco Sticks. And then he had to think about that, man. He was like, man, you gotta. And what did he say? He said Frisco's, huh? Or no?
He said Chico's, but he was at Frisco's.
Yeah, the following day, he's at Chico's. You hear that, Victor?
No, Frisco's.
He was at Frisco's the following day.
On my daily run, I have a good route that I'm running, and I run by Chico's every day.
Yeah. You like Chico's?
I never eat there.
I don't eat that
All
shit.
right, we're going to do Rapid Fire with Isaac Lunas, being sponsored by Detail Garage, Auto Detail Superstore. The code is WebBoxing101, and it's also being sponsored by the Healthy Start Meal Preparation. Hit up Carlos Diaz and Elda Diaz at 245-5949 or at carlosdiaz.diaz.1974 at hotmail.com for your meal preps, all you athletes and fighters. It's time for Rapid Fire.
Let's get
Here
it.
we go. Number
Boom,
one,
boom, boom.
all-time El Paso boxer.
You know what? A pro or amateur?
Let's go. All-time El Paso boxer.
All time. Bobby Joe, man. Just because he was like the first pro that I ever met, and he was really nice to me since I
Bobby
was
Joe
a kid.
who?
Bobby Joe Valdez.
Bobby Joe
You know,
Valdez.
he's a great friend. And
All
then
right.
actually, first Cesar, right? Because he was a pro. He was 10-0 as
Cesar?
as a professional. Cesar Carvajal, my trainer. He was
he-
10-0 all
man, you didn't
knockouts. So
mention him
yeah, I
first.
was like, oops. No, yeah.
Is he listening?
Probably. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
man. Most overrated pro boxer in the sport today. The Frisco's.
Most overrated pro. Jake Paul. What the hell? Why does he have a freaking
Well,
pro
I
license?
mean,
Why does he have
do
a
you
pro
consider
license?
him a pro boxer?
Well, he has a professional license. It's a joke. I think most overrated
I'm
pro.
gonna consider him on this conversation.
Probably when we're talking like pound for pound, the people that are like
Okay, go ahead. You're on the rapid fire seat.
Ryan Garcia, yeah, he's a hype job right now. Tank will knock him out. I think Devin Haney will piece him up too.
Wow. Okay. Open scoring in boxing, yes or no?
I mean, yes,
Why yes?
because there's so many ugly robberies, bro. So many
What do
ugly
you
robberies.
think,
There's not so
Coach?
many, but at the high level.
Open scoring in boxing, yes or no? Open scoring scorecards in boxing.
And even as a
when
fighter,
they show it,
Yeah. We don't-
no.
you don't think so? Even as a fighter, like, oh shit, I'm down. Let me jump on this
No,
motherfucker.
but what if you're up and then you don't
Yeah,
perform, right?
exactly.
Nah, true.
That's
See,
where
that's why we
that's
talk.
where I look at it.
The quality
true,
doesn't get there. So,
true.
because if you don't know, but then also the trainers also telling them you're winning, or you're not winning, fucker. You got to go. And even though they know they're up ahead, again, it's always for the fans too, right?
True,
Maybe
true.
open scoring will defeat that, right? Name 3 problems with boxing today.
3 problems with boxing. People think it's a game.
Okay, it's a joke.
This is rapid fire.
That's
I'm being
right,
very
we're
slow.
rapid fire with
people,
you.
People think it's a game. Isaac's hurt and he can't come beat people up yet. And
Those are your problems.
Canelo and Triple G haven't fought yet.
For the number 3.
For number 3.
All right. Favorite cartoon growing up?
Bugs Bunny.
The Looney Tunes?
Yeah,
That was
Looney
pretty cool.
Tunes,
What was
yeah.
your German?
¿Cómo se llama? Sylvester.
Oh yeah.
I like that guy.
you
Pepe
like-
Le Pew.
So
Oh,
you like
Pepe Le
Looney
Pew.
Tunes?
Yeah, I like
That was your
Pepe Le
favorite?
Pew.
What age is considered old in boxing?
I'd say like 40. Yeah,
40,
40.
what do you think?
My trainer
I
says
think
35.
35?
He said past 35 he don't want me fighting.
All right.
I retired at 35. That was enough shit.
You know what Aldo said? Too many belts in boxing, not like the UFC, right?
Yeah.
And there is too many belts. Sanction fee, the silver belt, the intercontinental, the all kinds of shit. Best thing about El Paso, Isaac?
Right now, the only reason I'm in El Paso is because of my team. You know, my trainer has a full-time job. He has kids. He can't leave. I
Best
love
thing-
El Paso.
So if I was coming in from Utah, what's the best thing about El Paso?
We'll shout out Chico's Tacos.
Really?
Yeah, the food.
Wow, okay. Favorite boxing movie?
Rocky won, of course.
Rocky won.
He's a bomb.
If you can change one thing about USA Boxing or our local LBC, what would it be?
I was trying to jump on it, but you guys were talking about other stuff and other topics were coming up. But I think instead of having a regional tournament for Golden Gloves and funding that, they should fund regional tournaments for nationals.
Yeah.
And get kids to nationals. A regional and state does, whatever about state, but just get them there, man, because that's where you get onto the Olympics. That's where you go international. So.
Yeah, and El Paso is the city the size that can host it.
I know Fort Worth does. They have a good program.
Come on, El Paso can compete. They have a AAA baseball team here, for God's sake. They have the capacity and the money, and that's what we're going to talk about with the mayor, man, huh? All right, last question. Team El Paso versus Team Las Cruces for the gold in boxing. Who would win?
All day, I gotta go with El Paso. That's my
Really?
hometown. Man, take me to Las Cruces.
Las Cruces have some good fighters, man.
Yeah, they got some good trainers out there.
I mean, all I can speak for is the ones that went against me, and I only lost at the national level.
Of course,
So,
of course. But imagine if we had Team El Paso versus Team Las Cruces. That'll be fun, right? You never know.
Yeah.
Representing the cities. That's another promotion thing. You see?
That's some good stuff right there.
Good
I remember we used to
marketing.
have against Juarez and.
Yeah, man, we haven't had that in a while. Team El,
that's good.
and all for good. Nothing for bad. I mean,
Of course.
I know boxing is a cutthroat sport, but all for good, right?
they always treated me great in Las Cruces.
They
too.
always treat us great.
Always.
We've had a lot.
You know
of
what
Las
they
Cruces
have? I
people
think they
here.
have a little bit better funding, maybe too, and a better
Well, they
program.
have a PAL.
Oh yeah,
They
true.
have more promotions
well,
out
like
there.
here, like I never got amateur belts, but in Las Cruces they would give me amateur belts
Yeah, that's
when
pretty
I won.
cool.
Yeah, they were always
Yeah,
nice.
they're cool people, man. I've always, and we have good people here in El Paso too. Isaac, it's been a pleasure to have you here on us.
I appreciate it. I'm very happy to have been here.
It's been great to have you. You always have a home here at the Warriors Edge Boxing Gym.
Yes, sir.
Again, we've been here 6 years, 7 at the other one, so total of 7 years as a hobby. Not bad.
Yeah.
I'll
tell you what, when I'm back at 100% in sparring, we'll be here.
Good. And say hi to your team for us.
Hey, again, shout out Cesar Heavy Artillery. That's my road dog. It's my brother, my manager. We're in this, and we're gonna take it to the top. Molly Wap Academy. We're at 2011 Myrtle, and I'm taking in people who actually want to be fighters, and then we're also have a cardio boxing program that we're offering and starting.
Good.
And hit us up.
All right, folks, there you have it. Isaac Luna. Hopefully we'll see him in the future. Much love and much respect for you. And in closing today, folks, getting you ready for the big fight weekend, we're going to steer a little bit away from boxing. This is a little inspirational story that I have for all of you guys, and it's called Everyone Has a Story in Life, right? Check this out. A 24-year-old boy seen out of the train, right? He was seen out from the train's window. He shouted, "Dad, look, the trees are going behind." Dad smiled, and the young couple sitting nearby looked at the 24-year-old childish behavior with pity. Suddenly, he again exclaimed, "Dad, look, the clouds are running with us." The couple couldn't resist and said to the man, "Why don't you take your son to a good doctor?" The man smiled and said, "I did, and we're just coming from the hospital. My son was blind from birth. He just got his eyes today." So, folks, the moral of the story here is every single person on the planet has a story. Don't judge people before you truly know them. The truth might surprise you. Folks, this has been our show for today. Web Boxing 101 wishes you the best weekend, and anything you're doing in life, put God first. This has been a podcast. Have a great weekend. We'll see you later, and everyone will have a story.